What if I told you there's a tree growing right now in backyards across India, Africa, and the Philippines that produces more usable protein than a dozen eggs every single week for 30 years straight from a single planting, no fertilizer, no replanting, no seed bill, every single year? This tree's leaves contain 9 times the protein of yogurt, 4 times the calcium of milk, 7 times the vitamin C of an orange, 25 times the iron of spinach, and it starts producing in under 6 months. One tree, 30 years. More protein than your backyard chickens will ever give you without feeding them a single bag of grain. 2 billion people already know about this plant. The rest of the world, especially in the West, has almost never heard of it, and that is not an accident. This is Plant Life's asserts, where we dig up the perennial crops, the forgotten food systems, and the agricultural knowledge that got left behind when industrial farming rewrote the rulebook. I'm not here to sell you supplements. I'm not here to hype up a superfood trend. I'm here to show you exactly what was growing in the world's most food-secure communities for thousands of years and explain clearly and honestly how it got erased from Western gardening culture. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what this tree is and why it has more protein per gram than eggs, chicken, or beef. You're going to understand the real economic and agricultural forces that kept it out of Western gardens. You're going to have a complete step-by-step guide to growing it yourself, even if you've never grown a tree in your life. And you're going to understand why a single planting today could be feeding your family for the next 3 decades. Stay with me. This one matters. The plant we're talking about is Moringa oleifera. You may have heard it called the drumstick tree, or the miracle tree, or in parts of South Asia, simply sajna. In the Philippines, it's malunggay. In East Africa, it's been a dietary staple for longer than written history. Moringa is a fast-growing deciduous tree. In ideal conditions, it reaches 20 feet in its first year. In zones 9 through 11, it grows as a true perennial, producing continuously for 20 to 30 years. In cooler zones, gardeners grow it as an annual or cut it back hard and mulch the roots through winter. The leaves are small, oval, and intensely green. The pods, the drumsticks, grow up to 18 inches long. The flowers are edible. The seeds are edible. The roots have traditional culinary uses. Almost every part of this tree puts food on the table. For over 4,000 years, moringa has been cultivated across South Asia and sub-Saharan Africa. Ancient Ayurvedic texts list it as a remedy for over 300 conditions. The Maurya warriors of ancient India are said to have consumed moringa leaf extracts before battle for sustained energy. Egyptian physicians used the oil from moringa seeds. This isn't a fringe plant. This is one of humanity's oldest cultivated food trees, and most American gardeners have never planted one. Let me give you the numbers, because this is where moringa stops sounding like hype and starts sounding like something that should be in every food garden in the country. A single egg contains about 6 grams of protein. 100 grams of fresh moringa leaves contains roughly 9 grams of protein, and dried moringa leaf powder pushes that to 27 grams per 100 grams. Gram for gram, dried moringa leaf has more than 4 times the protein of eggs, more than beef, more than most legumes. And unlike most plant proteins, moringa contains all 9 essential amino acids. It is a complete protein source. USDA nutritional analyses have confirmed this. Researchers at Johns Hopkins, the University of Leicester, and multiple institutions across sub-Saharan Africa have studied moringa specifically for its role in combating malnutrition. This is not marketing copy. These are peer-reviewed findings. Now let's talk yield. A mature moringa tree in a favorable climate can produce 1 to 2 pounds of fresh leaves per week during its growing season. That's 50 to 100 pounds of fresh leaves per year. Dried and powdered, that yield compresses to roughly 12 to 25 pounds of protein-dense powder annually from one tree once established with almost no inputs. Compare that to backyard chickens. A laying hen produces roughly 250 eggs per year, about 300 grams of protein total per bird. You're feeding that bird $40 to $50 worth of grain annually, spending time on co-op maintenance, managing predator pressure, and replacing your flock every 2 to 3 years as production drops. One moringa tree, by contrast, costs $3 to $5 as a seedling, needs no ongoing feed cost, produces for 30 years, and, depending on your zone, will reseed itself freely. Let's talk calcium. Moringa leaves contain 4 times the calcium of milk by weight. For families managing dairy intolerance, raising children without access to cheap dairy, or simply trying to reduce their dependence on store-bought food, that number is significant. Let's talk iron. Moringa contains 25 times the iron of spinach, vitamin A, 10 times the concentration of carrots. This is not one isolated nutrient. This is a tree that covers your protein, your calcium, your iron, your vitamin A, your vitamin C, all from a single perennial planting. In South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, moringa is used precisely this way, not as a supplement, but as a food staple. In parts of Senegal and Malawi, NGOs and governments have planted moringa in schoolyard gardens to address childhood malnutrition. In India, the drumstick, the long seed pod, is a standard ingredient in sambar, curries, and daily home cooking. The Indian state of Andhra Pradesh alone exports tens of thousands of tons of moringa annually. 2 billion people eat this plant regularly. Meanwhile, in the country with the world's highest per capita spending on nutritional supplements, most gardeners are still planting tomatoes and struggling to keep their chickens laying through winter. Think about that. So why? Why would a plant this productive, this nutritious, this low maintenance with a 4,000-year cultivation record simply not exist in the Western gardening tradition? Let me explain what actually happened. Because this isn't a simple story and it's worth understanding clearly. First, understand how American agriculture got standardized. After World War II, the United States underwent one of the most rapid agricultural transformations in history. Federal policy, land-grant university research, and a booming agrochemical industry all pushed in the same direction, toward annual monocrops. Corn, wheat, soybeans. These crops could be grown at massive scale, harvested by machine, stored in centralized silos, and processed into profitable products. The entire infrastructure of American agriculture, the equipment, the subsidies, the supply chains, the agricultural extension programs, was built around annuals. Perennial crops, almost by definition, didn't fit that model. You can't plant moringa with a corn planter. You can't harvest it with a combine. It doesn't dry uniformly for bulk commodity storage. A plant that grows for 30 years on a single planting generates exactly one retail transaction, the seedling, and then feeds people independently for 3 decades. That's a terrible business model for a seed company. It's a terrible business model for a fertilizer company. And because no major commercial interest was willing to fund research into it, moringa simply did not make it into the extension bulletins, the gardening catalogs, or the USDA crop databases that American growers relied on. Second, the Western nutritional establishment spent the entire latter half of the 20th century with its attention fixed almost entirely on animal protein. Eggs, beef, dairy, chicken. The food pyramid, in all its iterations, was built around these commodities, and the commodity lobbies behind them had both the funding and the political access to keep it that way. A tree leaf that outperforms eggs on protein, calcium, and a dozen other metrics simply had no institutional champion in Washington. Nobody was lobbying for moringa. Nobody was funding moringa extension programs. Nobody was writing USDA fact sheets about it. Third, there is a simple and uncomfortable truth about knowledge transfer in agriculture. Americans learn to grow what their parents grew. Their parents grew what was in the seed catalogs. The seed catalogs listed what the commercial seed companies produced. And the commercial seed companies produced what could be packaged, sold annually, and replanted every spring. Perennial food trees break every part of that chain. A plant you buy once and harvest for 30 years doesn't generate repeat customers. It generates food-secure families. And food-secure families are, frankly, not a profitable market. Here's what you need to understand. The agricultural system that emerged in post-war America was extraordinarily good at producing calories at scale. It was not designed and was never incentivized to produce nutritional independence at the household level. Moringa wasn't suppressed by a boardroom decision. It was simply left behind by a system that had no economic use for it. And the result is the same either way. 4,000 years of cultivation knowledge, proven nutritional science, and one of the world's most productive food plants, invisible to most American gardeners, until now. Now let me tell you exactly how to grow moringa. Because the good news is that this is one of the easiest food trees you will ever plant. Sourcing your plant is the first step. Moringa seeds and seedlings are widely available online through specialty nurseries, Etsy sellers, and tropical plant suppliers. Search Moringa oleifera seeds or drumstick tree seedling. In southern Florida, Texas, California, and Hawaii, local nurseries often carry them. Expect to pay $1 to $3 for a seed packet of 20 to 30 seeds, or $3 to $7 for a small seedling. For your first planting, I recommend starting with seedlings to cut several months off your timeline to first harvest. Moringa thrives in USDA zones 9 through 11 as a true perennial. In zones 7 and 8, it can be grown as a dieback perennial. Cut it to the ground before frost, mulch the roots heavily, and it will resprout from the root crown in spring. In colder zones, grow it in a large container and bring it inside during winter, or treat it as a fast-growing annual. Even a single season will give you a significant harvest. Planting is straightforward. Choose your sunniest spot. Moringa wants full sun, at least 6 hours daily, and ideally 8 or more. It is drought-tolerant once established but needs regular moisture in its first 3 months. Soil pH should be between 6.3 and 7.0, though moringa is forgiving of a wide range. It absolutely cannot tolerate waterlogged soil. Plant in a raised bed or on a slight slope if your ground drains poorly. If starting from seed, plant half an inch deep in well-draining soil. Germination takes 5 to 12 days. Space trees at least 10 feet apart. They grow fast and wide. In the first year, your moringa will likely reach 8 to 15 feet tall. Begin harvesting leaves when branches are at least 20 inches long. Cut the growing tip back by about a third. This forces branching, which dramatically increases your total leaf production. Don't be timid about harvesting. Regular cutting is what makes moringa productive. A tree you never prune will grow tall and spindly. A tree you harvest regularly becomes a dense, productive bush. Young leaves, stems, and pods are all edible. Fresh leaves have a mild, slightly peppery flavor similar to arugula, but less bitter. They can be added directly to salads, soups, and stews, blended into smoothies, or stirred into scrambled eggs or rice dishes. The immature seed pods, the drumsticks, are cooked like green beans or simmered in curries. The mature seeds can be pressed for oil or eaten roasted. Even the flowers are edible and slightly sweet. For storage, the most effective method is drying. Strip leaves from stems and dry them in a single layer in the shade, not direct sunlight, which degrades the nutrients. Once fully dry and crisp, crumble them into a powder and store in an airtight jar away from light. Properly dried moringa leaf powder keeps for up to a year without significant nutrient loss. 1 tablespoon of dried powder in a morning smoothie delivers a significant portion of your daily protein, iron, and calcium requirements. Let me tell you what happened when I planted my first moringa tree 4 years ago. I started with a small seedling about 8 inches tall, planted it in early May in a raised bed with full southern exposure. By August of that same year, it was over 6 feet tall. I harvested my first significant flush of leaves in late June, maybe 2 handfuls. By September, I was taking a pound of leaves per week off that tree. By the end of year 2, with regular hard pruning, I was drying and storing enough leaf powder to supplement our family's diet meaningfully through the winter. In year 3, I planted 4 more trees. I now have more moringa than we can use, and I'm sharing cuttings and seeds with every neighbor who will take them. 1 tree. 4 years, and it will keep producing for another 25.